Hi, hello and welcome to this week's angling blog. Today you join me on the banks of the River Ribble and we're going to be fishing the Bolo for roach and dace. Before we get into the fishing, I'd just like to thank everybody for all the support they show the channel, all the nice comments that they leave. It's greatly appreciated and a pleasure to log in on a Monday night and reply to all the questions and reply to all the comments that people leave. So if you have any questions that you have on the videos, leave them in the comments below. I always answer the comments that people leave and I'll do my best to answer the question. It's not one that I can answer in writing. I'll try and incorporate it into future videos, a bit like the plumbing up question we had in the recent video. Just before we get into this week's vlog, some of the videos that I do when I'm stick float fishing or fishing a river, I get them pan shots from the top of the bank of me, you know, trotting the float down. The banks today are treacherous after recent rain and literally getting down here was a nightmare and getting back out is going to be equally so. So I don't really want to ruin the path that I've got back out of here. So today a lot of the vlog will be recorded on the GoPro and on my phone. So let's get into the fishing. Today I'm hoping to make contact with some quality dace and roach. So the setup that we're going to be using today is my Corum glide rod, and today I've got it set at 14 foot. I've teamed that up with a Corum axis reel, and on there I've got 4 pound 4 ounce dread and float fish. On the business end I've got a 3 gram Bolo float. That's down to a bulk shot using Dinsmore shot. I've got egg shot and a Olivet, 1 pound 7 ounce beta pearl on to 3 droppers down to a size 16 hook. The side tray that you can see on screen now, I've got around about 1.5 pints to 2 pints of red maggot, around about 3 pints of Cheshire particle hemp and tears, and I've also got mixed up 1.5 kilos of the hinders supercharged pollard groundbait. So on the channel I'm always saying about learning your venues and stuff like that, and today I'm aiming to not feed any maggots into the swim. Maggot is a bait that I use quite a lot in my river fishing. In fact, I use it for everything from chub all the way down to dace. But today, I'm just going to feed them big balls of ground bait you can see on screen now, and the Cheshire particle hemp into the swim. I'm going to try my best not to feed any maggot to see whether that improves the quality of the fish we catch. That's the little island they're going to be stood on today, and with tides due, I'm pretty sure it's going to come up over that. Quick look at the side tray. And that's the swim. As you can see down here, we've got a lot of pace under our feet, and I imagine if you had a bit more water in today and a bit more colour, you could get the fish down here. I have made a bit of a start, and I did trot this line down here before I did the intro just to see what's about, and there's a snag just between me and my uncle, so this line here is pretty much out the question. I tried it twice and each time I hit it, so it's solid, and it doesn't give you the option to deepen up or do anything with the swim. So I much prefer to put the Bolo on and go down that line where you can see that white thing going down now. That is the line that I'm going to try and attack today. There's a tuft on the far bank there, and that's what I'm going to be lining up with, feeding me hemp and me ground bait there, hoping to get the bite here. It's beautiful conditions for fishing today, and hopefully we can get a bite or two. So after a few smaller fish, it's taken about half an hour, and we're into the first better stamp one of the day, and it has been one of them things where you've just got to remain confident that the fish will come. I haven't put any maggot in yet, fed any maggot, despite having 2 pints or 3, but hopefully if we keep putting the hemp in and the ground bait and the tears, we can pick up some quality fish. And that's the first one of the day. So when I arrived this morning, I've had a bit of bait under my feet, not too much. And on previous blogs I have said about committing to one line early on. There's a snag halfway between me and my uncle who's downstream. So had I put them balls of ground bait right on that line this morning, I'd have been putting them straight on a snag. So the first bit of this morning I've been going a bit further out, just trying to work out a line, and when I've got a line where I can go straight down the river, I've put them balls of ground bait, and as you've seen there, just feeding that hemp and tears over the top. A bite going down the middle on a line that we know we can go down and not snag, and that's the key. Don't commit straight away to the line you're going to fish. You can see we're starting on a double red maggot, a nice big hook, nice and confident, and hoping that we can really attack the swim today. So as you've seen there, we're beginning to get a bit of a run of fish, and you can notice that just by the float, how it's going down, the knocks on the float all the time, and the fish that are topping are now around where you're feeding. I don't know if you just saw that then, but a pike has just swirled right behind that dace, and in it typical, we had them on us in a recent vlog, and we've got another one on us today, and that is the hazard of dace fishing and roach fishing. You know, your predators are in the same area. So we do get a lot of questions on why don't I take the pike rod with me when I'm fishing for dace and stuff like that, and to be honest with you, I'm a great believer in just doing one thing and concentrating on it. When you start putting a pike rod down the edge, your concentration is on two things. You know, you've always got your eye on the pike float, and you've always got your trying to concentrate on catching dace. So I much prefer just to do one thing and concentrate on it. You get that disturbance from a pike, the one thing that you can lose is the shoal that was there, and at that point we did have quite a decent stamp of fish moved in. So what I've done is I've fed them balls of ground bait and just rested the swim for 10 minutes, had a brew, tied the new hook link, and just going back in, and as you can see, it does feel like there's one or two fish back in the swim now, back on that line. There's a lot more fish topping in the area, and hopefully, you see we just missed a bite then, hopefully that's the last we see of Mr. Pike, but it could just be one of them days where he is part and parcel of the day. He's going to come in, spook the shoal, and you've got to try and get him back again. As you can see there, hooked into a decent fish, and after talking about Mr. Pike, I'm not sure if this is him. As you saw there, the line was a lot more solid than that dace would be. You can see where Mr. Pike bit him across the back, so he's still out there, and there's one or two fish still topping, so he's got a lot of fish to choose from, and at the moment he's choosing our swim. That's one lucky dace going back. So we've just hooked in to the best fish of the day so far, and in typical fashion it's a pike. I was going to say in typical fashion it's the GoPro hasn't worked, but there is the smallest pike you will ever see, with a double red maggot firmly in its chops. And there we go, what a lovely pike that is, all the colours and teeth to match. We got very lucky hooking him in the jaw, as you can see now, and the GoPro literally wouldn't turn on, but There we go. I think it's the first ever pike I've actually hooked that's not taken a fish. It's just been hooked as I've struck. But what a beautiful little pike that is. Now I'll mark out a place and we'll get it straight back. And back he goes. Look how the camouflage on the bottom of them rocks there. Perfect. We'll leave him there and eventually he'll probably just move off. There he goes. Amazing speed they have. And definitely not the pike that's been out there, not big enough. But just shows, you know, how productive and fertile this river is. Fish of all sizes, of all species. Fantastic river. Let's get back to it. And that is what we come for. A beautiful river ribble dace. It's a lovely fish. And that's what makes all the miles worthwhile. A lovely, plump river ribble dace. Let's get it straight back. And two fantastic dace coming on consecutive casts, and what a two fish they've been, and just shows what a fantastic river this is. My favourite species of all, the dace. And when you get two on the bounce like that, is what it's all about. A lovely fish. So one thing you've got to take into consideration when you come to the Ribble is the tides. I check the wall on screen now at Gladstone Dock in Liverpool, and generally anything over 9 meters, you're going to get some type of tide here that's going to affect your fishing. Today I brought the bare minimum onto this little bit. Big high bank sticks. I've got high wellies on, so the margins I've got where I can stand on the peg are quite high, but I would imagine there's a good chance that's going to cover the peg eventually, and you've got to keep your eye on it, especially if you're stood in the river where it can come in behind you. And only a few moments later you can see that the peg is completely covered. I don't think it's the biggest tide today, and hopefully that's the start of it beginning to ebb off, but just shows just how quickly you can be caught out. And although I love the dace on the river, there's something special about that tapping on the rod tip and a nice river roach. And there we go, going exactly £1 on the scales. This side of the fish bears testament to some close misses with predators, but that side pristine. And what a lovely river roach that is. And like I say, I love the dace, but you can't beat a river roach. A lovely fish, going exactly £1 on the scales, and the highlight so far of the day. Let's hope there's one or two more down there. Just fed that ball of ground bait, and that float is buried, and instantly we've got a better quality fish. And that is the difference that it makes. Them fish must be coming in, emptying the feed that's there, and then moving back out, and that is another quality dace. And if I've learned anything today, it's that not feeding the maggot has most certainly kept the quality of these fish up. Feeding the ground bait has got them back in, but not feeding maggot has definitely kept them where I've wanted them in the swim. So that's what I love about river fishing. For the first probably half an hour today was trying to find the line, but wasn't really getting a bite. stuck with the line, keep putting that hemp in and that tears and the odd ball of ground bait and going over the same line. And with rivers you'd always feel that, you know, something can happen, and as you can see, this fish now topping all in the area. And as we approach the end of the session, the bites are still coming. It's another pristine roach, just coming on that double red maggot over that hemp and ground bait. Right, so the session comes to an end there now. Not an easy day on the bank, but one where plenty of lessons were learned. Fishing a different swim also gives you an insight into new areas of the river and different swims. For example, this one now would probably be a feeder swim if I fished it again. When you look back at a session, you always look at things you could do differently, but that is the magic of fishing, that each session you take something away. And today, just feeding that hemp and tears and the ground bait has taught me loads about the way the fish behave on this river behind me. As you can see in the final net, bit of quality in the net. There's them nice roach and them nice dace that came along. So all that remains is for me to wish you all tight lines. It'd be great if you could like and subscribe to the channel and maybe share the video with your friends. But until next time, tight lines, and I'll catch you all next week. Tight lines.